This show has been sponsored with JN Events. Welcome to the Full Spectrum.
And don't forget to like, comment, share on our YouTube at Mugi TV Kenya and on Facebook at Mugi TV. And today we have a very interesting topic at discussion, which is early pregnancies, because it's a matter that is affecting many women outside here, many girls and many ladies. Most ladies who are being affected are teenagers, and that's our topic tonight. Don't forget to comment on our social media handle so that we can read your comments and engage with you. Thank you and welcome.
Yes.
So as we start, let's start on a high note. Yes, right?
Yes.
And actually today we have girls on set because this issue concerns girls. Most importantly, it concerns girls. Those who are affected mostly, it's girls, because who carries the pregnancy?
Girls.
It's a girl.
Yeah.
So today we
Ladies,
have
women.
today's edition is a very special one because we have girls on set, Iron ladies on set.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So we can go on. Lorna,
Yes.
what is your take on early pregnancies generally?
Yeah. Okay. I feel like it is a bit of a complicated issue
Mhm.
because for a lady to get a girl, that is because we're talking about early pregnancies.
Mm-hmm.
So for a girl to get pregnant, that means there were some steps she took that her friends didn't take.
Mm-hmm.
There were some moments where the parent was absent,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why we ask, who's to blame on that matter?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it the girl,
Mhm.
or is it the man that we don't know, the girl might not even know,
Mhm.
or is it the parent?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to blame on that matter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yes, so I think there are a lot of issues concerning early pregnancies,
Yeah,
and you're asking who is to blame.
yeah,
We can blame the parents, we can blame the girl,
yeah,
we can blame the man, we can blame the society,
yeah.
because at the end of the day, actions have consequences.
True.
Mhm.
True.
And at times, the way we are being brought up really matters. Like, they really impact our lives as adults or as even young people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you know, when you're a teenager, mwili inaanzanga kuitana
Develop, I know,
kuitana.
yeah.
Yeah, so you're trying to explore, you're trying to do things to make you feel better, because now you're in a state of confusion.
Yeah.
You're wondering what is happening, what is this that is happening to my body.
Yeah.
And if you have no if you've not been told, or if you've not been taught, you won't know
True.
how to navigate.
So on my end, I think this is a very complex issue.
Yeah.
We don't know whom to blame because we have so many people at stake. Number one, we have the man.
Yes.
Number two, we have the lady. Number three, we have the parents, both parents from the man's side and the lady's side.
Yes.
So it's a very critical issue that we don't know whom to blame.
Yes.
To blame here, it's very circumstantial because the girl is the one at stake because she's the one who is carrying the pregnancy.
Yes.
But many people who surround her, the parents of the boy, parents of the girl, and also the man, they are to blame.
Yeah.
Everybody is to blame because you go this side. Wazazi wa kijana, why didn't you teach your boy some virtues?
Yes.
You go to the side ya msichana, why didn't you teach your girl some virtues? They say kufunga miguu. That's how they use.
True.
Mbona haukufunza mtoto wako
All
kufunga
African
miguu?
mothers.
Yeah, African stature that is.
Yes.
When you go to the man also starts saying, why didn't you know? Don't you know your safe days?
True.
You see,
True.
so everyone is to blame in this sector.
And how will a teenager know things like contraception and safe days?
If the parent doesn't speak about them.
But do you think it is right for you to teach your teenage daughter on contraceptives and
Yes. On my take,
Uh-huh.
okay, on my take, let me go first.
Yes.
On my take, I think it's very essential
Yes.
for parents to, especially moms,
Yes.
but dads can also take up the role, for parents to teach their young ladies about contraceptives, about how to take care of their bodies. Generally, sexual education.
Yes.
You see,
Yes.
sex education, meaning if you get to this age, you have to avoid boys, and
Yes.
if you get close to boys, here's what you have to do not to get pregnant, because it's something that happens. We cannot say that people will just abstain and stay celibate in this
True.
generation
True.
of ours. So I think it's very essential for parents and both parents, male and female, mother and father,
Yeah.
to take responsibility
Yeah.
on having sex education classes with their children.
But
Yes.
don't you think it would be embarrassing? Like, you're calling
What
your
do you think,
teenager
Loda?
to start telling. I think it would be better if you tell their auntie or someone to
To
just talk
speak
to
on
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kama wazazi wetu alishindwa, do you think you would?
Because
You as a
to
parent.
be honest, like currently as we were raised, your parent does tell you, try to abstain, or if you're making friends, make female friends or friends of your gender, but they rarely talk about intimacy, and I don't know why. I don't know why they don't talk
They
about
just shy
intimacy.
off.
Yeah.
They shy off, but I think in this current generation, as we are moving on forward,
Yeah.
I think it's a generation that we, you know, Gen Zs ni watu wamechanuka.
And we are bold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bold na wamechanuka. So if you don't take that step to come and just tell them that this and this is right, this and this is wrong, and just go away with the shyness, they will mess up.
Yeah. Okay, what about these instances where you find that the lady, they are both teenagers, but the lady is older than the guy, so it's a boy. How do you handle that?
You
I
mean
think-
the lady is
For
older
example,
than the
for example,
boy?
the lady is 15 and then the boy is around 14. How do you handle that?
That's the same age group.
Yeah,
So
because
I don't think there's much implication. Maybe when you say when the girl is 20 years and the boy is say 13, 14.
but then
Yeah.
will that be teenage pregnancy?
Yeah, I mean they're still teenagers, but now an older
Both
teenager who can
teenagers.
take care of herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on swiftly.
Okay.
What are the implications of early pregnancy?
Oh, sadly, you know, you find that there are some instances a lady gets pregnant, and actually we need to, okay, this might be a bit controversial, but you need to congratulate a lady who decides to take up the pregnancy, even though it's a girl, because the other alternative is to take an abortion, which we know might be a bit complicated and might end up might result to, you know, other issues. But then you find that the girl will reach to the stage where she's giving birth, and then sadly ends up losing the child and losing her life. So how do you try to, you know, prevent that?
Just to add on that, Lorna,
Yes.
shortly, on one implication that is very, very risky
Yes.
is the health of the
Yes.
girl.
Yes.
Because, you know, this is a young girl. Her body is not yet ready to carry, to how to introduce a new human being in the body.
Yeah.
Her womb is not yet ready.
Yeah.
So it brings a lot of complications, because sometimes you find that the uterus cannot expand to this extent, the cervix has problems. So it's very risky for a young girl who is even below 15 years, even 16, to
Yeah.
give birth.
Yeah.
It's a very big risk. And also,
I think they usually say that a woman fully develops when they are about 21 years.
21.
that's when their
Yeah.
bodies is now
You can
ready
actually have a
to
child.
carry a baby and
Yes.
just to full term, that is 9
Yes,
months,
yes,
and also give birth
Yes,
normally without any
yes.
complications.
yes.
Yeah.
So do you encourage your girl has come home and she's pregnant, you know, and at that point she doesn't know who the father is, you know, so at that moment do you tell her it's okay, we'll raise it, or you take her to the clinic and you're like, let's be done?
Number one, children are a gift from God.
Yes.
So whichever, you don't know, maybe she's carrying the next president,
True,
the next
true,
cabinet secretary.
But how will you raise that president?
How will you raise?
So what we have
Before
to do
they
is just
get to become the
president.
President.
How will you, okay,
Yeah.
raising, wanasemanga hata kuzaa si shida,
Kulea.
kulea ndio
Kulea.
shida.
True, true.
It's okay. But number one, a child is a gift from God. And the children come with their own blessings. I'm
Yes.
taking this from a perspective of siblings.
Yes.
May don't have a kid myself.
Yes.
Children come with blessings. People say that I want to get to a certain age before, this is my own opinion,
Yeah,
before I get a child.
Yeah.
So you will see this person struggle, hajakuwa financial stable, but the moment anapata mtoto, mtoto anakuja na
Doors
baraka.
open. True.
Yeah.
Hiyo na kitu kaa hiyo.
Yeah, I've seen in many instances. I've seen in very many
Ati
instances.
mtoto
So,
anakuja na
sani
sahani yake.
yake. Yeah, anakuja na silver platter yake.
Yeah.
So we think children are a gift from God, and abortion is not or something to be tabled on the table when someone
Yeah.
is pregnant. It's not an option. Let them just give birth.
And it even causes emotional strain. Because now when you remember you've aborted, and then maybe you grow up, now you're fully grown, you're educated, you're doing a good job, then
Yeah.
a good man comes in your corner, then now you can't have children.
Sadly.
I watch
then-
too much Nigerian movies.
That's the impact of
I
Nigerian
know, right?
movies. But it happens in real life.
True.
Yeah, it happens in real life.
And then you know another implication is that this child will never enjoy childhood again. They're going out to play with other kids. It is done. Going to school like a normal kid, you
The
have to
teenage
now
mom.
start. Yes, you have to start thinking about breastfeeding. And if you are the boy and decide I'll raise this child at my age, you start thinking about
Which is at very tender age.
you know, childhood just disappears for you. Yeah.
And
also-
the
A
stigma
lot
that
of
comes
stigma.
with when you are both, because probably your mom or your dad shares with a friend or a relative, and then they go start telling people,
It
and
spreads.
then you know some people usually lose a lot of weight, so people are just like,
Yeah.
so now everyone is just judging you. You know, we listen,
It's
but we don't
stigmatization.
judge, but they
We
judge.
listen,
They
but
do
we don't
judge.
judge, but they do judge. Anyway,
Yeah.
another implication
Yeah.
of early pregnancies
Yeah.
on the girl's side is that education and career. This girl, number one, she will drop out of school. Even if she'll come to continue at a later age, she will still drop out
Drop out,
because she
yeah.
needs to go and give birth, which is a very long process. After that,
Yeah.
heal, nurse the baby for a certain period of time, like 6 months. So you see, this girl can lose up to about 2 years.
Yeah,
Or even
exactly,
1.5
2
years.
And you
Yes,
know, many
roughly.
girls, like many girls end up, you know, like in school, if you're found pregnant, they suspend you for like that period you're going to give birth.
But is pregnancy a crime? Why should they suspend someone?
They say it's your fault.
But you know what? Okay, I've never been pregnant, but now you're just thinking the way someone usually gets tired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah, you can see.
And you have to
the-
wake
the
up
legs
at
are
4,
swelling,
yeah.
and you have
For
really bad
preps.
nausea, and
you can't handle it.
Yeah, and then now you have school, you have what, you have to balance all these things.
So this is a real life example. I'll not mention the name, but the high school I was in, when we went for COVID break, many things happened in 2020. Many things happened. Wale wako wamechanuka wakachanuka.
Sadly.
Wale wako wana sadly, unfortunately.
unfortunately.
Wale wako wanajua wanaume wakajua. So when you come, when we came back, roughly 3 girls were pregnant. And it was like there was stigma already, because during games time people are running, but you can't run. And then all of the time they're with jumpers. You know,
have
it is
to
very
hide it.
sunny.
I don't know why.
You know,
Yeah.
it comes with a certain shame. Like people know I did this and this and this at this age.
Yeah.
So it is very, sometimes it can be very shameful.
And you know the worst part in school is during exams. Let's say national, because the internal exams you can skip them.
Yeah, you can skip
But
them.
then the national exams and you're pregnant, it is very hectic. Yeah.
So, and the education and future, like now you everything now slows down. Sasa utamaliza na wenzako, now you have to get to
Everything
uni
slows
then-
later, then before you get to your career, you know, it's a whole process.
And also to add on that, on career, yes, you have given birth maybe at Form 4, you have gone back to school, you have done your exams, right? Then you again start going to university. Remember, you are still young. You don't have any means. You're not financially stable to take care of the baby.
Yeah.
So, let's say you get somewhere to go. Let's say in Tanzania
Yeah.
for a gig. You have gotten work there, right? So it's very strenuous because you cannot travel with the baby.
Yeah, true.
You don't know whom to live with the baby with.
And you know, as much as parents are like, I'll be willing to take care of your kid, it won't be all year round.
Yeah, it
You
cannot
have
be every
to take
single time.
responsibility at
Yeah,
one
you
point.
have to be responsible.
Yeah.
That's another point.
Yeah.
Responsibility. So now you have a whole baby you need to take care of. You're young, you want
It's
to
hard
enjoy
to take
life.
care of yourself.
Yeah. You can
Mnalia
barely
wote.
eat, and then you have another mouth to feed.
Mtoto akilia mnalia wote.
That is sad, actually.
And you know, most of the young parents usually don't even know how to take care of these kids.
Yeah,
Because now you're
especially
wondering,
first time moms.
Yeah,
First
you're
time moms
wondering,
don't know how to take care of young
what should I
infants.
do with this child? But you know, when you're mature, at least you understand some things to some extent.
Yeah.
And it also brings about emotional strain. You know, we have postpartum depression, trauma. Your mental health is not stable at this specific point. So you see, with number one, it's pregnancy brings about changes in the body. Even after you've given birth, you also have changes in the woman's body or the girl's body.
Yeah.
So this girl starts feeling like now how will people see me? My tummy is not going to be flat again like it
true.
was at first. I don't know, my legs are
My
swollen.
friends saw me pregnant.
You see,
what will they-
people
yeah.
say also some skin tones change
True.
with depending with the type of gender you're going to give birth to. So I've become darker because I've given birth to this gender.
You get depressed.
So it is very depressed. Yani, you become very depressed, and also sometimes you cannot even go out.
Yeah, you
Because,
can.
especially if you are someone who, personally, I'm sanguine in nature. I am an extrovert. I like hanging out with friends. I like going out. So if you find someone who was like that, and now they're just inside the house, they have to take care of the baby, they have to breastfeed. You cannot go outside you have to go after 3 months. You see, so depression knocks in.
Yeah.
And when you remember, my peers are learning. People are syllabus inasonga.
Yes.
Very
Wanasongesha
fast.
syllabus.
Very fast.
Unakumbuka wanasongesha syllabus. Sasa
And then sadly with that, the kid grows up with that trauma.
Yeah.
And they become
the kid of the
very-
mom or the
That's
teenage
the,
mom.
the kid of the mom.
Mhm.
At this point they are both kids.
They're both
So
kids,
you
so
have
we
to
don't know.
specify.
We don't know
Yeah.
which kid.
It is the small kid who has been born. The mother is depressed.
Yeah.
You're there crying. They end up abandoning you. So you grow up very slow. To be honest, you grow up slow, and by the time you're catching up, you're like talking. It is way past, and then early pregnancies. When they are born, there's some implications with the birth. So the kid, there's a high chance they get what is the big head called? Down syndrome.
Down syndrome.
Most kids are born with Down syndrome because of that, because of the stress and the amount of do I say hormones released at that moment. You're not yet ready, you're not prepared to give birth. And that's why when you give birth, it is also very complicated.
Okay, so
Like,
on that note,
yeah.
thank you our viewers for watching. This is the Full Spectrum, and we're talking about early pregnancies. This show has been sponsored by JN Events.
And you can like, share, and subscribe in our YouTube at Mugi TV Kenya and our Facebook at Mugi TV.
Okay.
Yes.
So moving on forward,
Yes.
we also have now we are tackling implications. So we also have financial burden.
Yes.
Remember, this lady is a student.
Yes.
If the boy is a student or not, we
There's
don't
no
know.
source of money.
There's no source of money.
Yeah.
So it's the girl really struggles with the baby. A baby comes with very many responsibilities. Remember,
And
this is
the-
a baby,
the woman
another
will
human
struggle
being.
with it
Yeah,
by
they need
herself.
food, they need clothing, they need many
And
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it becomes me mwenyewe, I'm struggling financially.
How
What
do you
what
handle
about
it?
handling a small infant that I've just brought into this
Yeah.
world?
And I hear babies are very expensive.
Even you're not
At this
expensive.
current moment, with this
know, right?
economy.
Yeah, mimi anaweza inama. I can say lunch, wacha
No.
niiname.
Yeah. But
Mtoto akifika lunch time anakukimbilia, mam,
Yeah.
where is lunch? I say that in my CV.
hadi
They
timetable
don't know
yao
that.
haikuangi asubuhi lunch jioni. It is
They eat
a few hours later.
Yeah,
They
maybe
eat-
after every few
They
hours.
eat a morning,
Yeah.
mid-morning lunch,
Lunch,
mid-lunch,
supper.
then before
And
dinner
they
they also
eat
eat
this, and then
something.
supper, then they take
Some
milk,
tea.
then they sleep.
And their
They
food
wake
is
up
very
and-
expensive.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
say you see, with this financial burden also starts from the point of giving birth.
Yeah.
Remember, this lady is young. Her body is not yet developed to
Yeah.
give birth, right?
There was
So-
no insurance for
Yeah,
that.
so this lady needs, they say, the doctors maybe recommend, let's take her to cesarean section
Yeah.
because her cervix has not expanded enough.
Yeah.
So you go, operation, cesarean section is also a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
It starts from there. Problems begin from when
From
the child
there,
is being
true,
born.
true.
After that, healing again. You need nurse to come and check on you.
Yeah.
It's again, you need to pay money. After that,
So I feel like men are usually now the luckiest people because now
At that point,
anaweza ruka na aendelee na maisha yake
And
vizuri
disappears.
sana, yeah.
I said, Mimi, no.
uko cesarean umekatwa unapambana na hali yako.
yeah. But then these rich families, you can marry at any age and any time. They're like, you're 20, you're ready, very well, because they know when you get pregnant, we can deal with that. But then if you're from a middle-aged or a poor family, as a early pregnancy kid, that is very tough.
Very tough.
Very
Yeah.
tough.
Especially if you're, let's say, if your background is humble.
Humble.
Yes.
Oh, humble.
Humble.
Yes.
Let's use a
Humble.
cutesy word for
A
this.
cutesy word, yes.
Yeah, if your background is humble, please close your legs. So,
on the next point, how should a parent react when they hear, where were two example, your child comes and tells you, your teenage daughter comes and tells you,
Yes.
Mom, kimeumana. What will you do? What should be your reaction? What would be your reaction?
You know, I feel like we have been raised with this previous,
Authoritarian.
this previous generation. So
the millennials or
the millennials. Sorry to say. So
Your parents are millennials?
millennials, ndani.
millennials.
So something as small as you come home late because you are playing, it brings very many.
Do you mean you play at this age?
No, like when we were
Oh,
young.
you are young.
When we were young.
You
So
can still play at this age. It's not that.
Yeah, it's allowed.
yeah. So right now when my kid comes and tells me, Mom, I'm pregnant, what do I do? I get very conflicted. I don't know whether to scold this kid, because if you're like, it's okay, we'll try and raise the kid, the girl will take, she'll take a different approach. She'll be like, it's okay to be pregnant at this age, so you have to be strict at the same time. I don't understand how are you supposed to do that? Be strict and at the same time nurture in a calm
But in this situation, ni wanasema
Maji
already
yashamwagika.
happened.
Is it maji
Yeah.
ya maziwa?
whatever it
Maziwa yakishamwagika
is
hayazoeleki.
maji au maziwa.
We don't know, as long as it's liquid.
Inaweza kwa uji pia.
Hata uji ikimwagika.
So at this point I just feel like if it has happened,
Yeah.
now what do you do? Because even if you get angry, imefanyika. And then now you have to take your role as a parent and advise accordingly, because now it can be tough, but now you will tell them, now you're a grown up, you have to take responsibility.
Personally, I think the parents should approach this situation. Now the teenage girl is pregnant.
Yeah.
It has already happened, as Cheryl has said.
Yeah.
So they should just approach this situation with understanding and support,
Yeah.
and no blame games.
If only.
If
And now, let me
no
ask
if
you.
games at this point.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
if games.
Let me ask you now, if your teenage daughter has a child, brought the first child, then another one
That's
in the
because
same house, how do you react?
but then there's some
Hayo
parents
sasa ni
who
mazoea.
there's some parents who take their kids after the girl has given birth. They take her for adoption to prevent all this.
Okay.
Very many.
Wow,
actually.
this is so new. I'm surprised.
Especially
Yeah.
if you can't afford the
take care of it.
the financial stability.
Mhm.
And actually there are some people who buy the kids from the hospitals.
Oh,
Yeah, you have that
yeah.
case.
So
I've heard of such cases
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So they
But
should parents should just stay calm, because initial reactions, the very first reactions you make will determine whether this girl
will be traumatized.
traumatized or not, or also
feel
whether
safe.
she'll want to continue with this pregnancy journey, or maybe opt for other options, which in this case the only other option is abortion, of which abortion comes with very many risks.
Last.
Very
Yeah, it comes with very many risks.
Yeah.
So I think initial reaction from a parent determines a lot for this pregnancy journey.
What if now the child coming to you is the boy? What do you do?
The boy is saying I've been impregnated someone.
Yeah. What do
At
you
the same
do?
case.
That is really nice,
What do you
because
I think this man is very responsible.
Yeah.
Very responsible,
So me
because
as
he
a
has
mom,
taken
I'll
up.
just
I'll
tell-
appreciate it first.
I'll tell him
Yeah.
to bring the girl home
Yeah.
and take care of the girl and the child.
Wow.
But now at a hammer.
But now, do you know, you've just knocked the spot I wanted to touch on.
Yes.
Do you know we have Shosho Gen Z? She does not. Do you know we have Shosho Gen Z? Let's start from there.
That's interesting.
Shosho Mwenye, she does not want to accept. She's a millennial. She's a millennial,
I
but
know
she wants
those, I know
to
those.
bring herself to be a Gen Z short.
Cheryl.
So she does not want to hear anything
Are you a
from
Gen
you.
Z?
Are you a Shosho?
No,
Will you be a
I'm a
Shosho Gen
millennial.
Z?
Oh,
a
proud
last-born millennial.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, so this is what I'm saying. Shosho Gen Z is the one who will say, Mimi, I cannot take care of a grandchild. Please, if you got a lady pregnant, please put your house in order. Look for job. You can go from Django, but me, I cannot wash napkins at
Teenage
Shosho.
boy.
Then this Shosho will say, I played my part by raising you. I
Yeah,
did my
now-
part.
Yes,
So we want
yes.
to bring
Raising
another one
the
again.
child.
Mimi, I'm Shosho Gen Z. I want to go out,
Their hearts
please.
are tough. Very tough.
Yeah.
So parents should offer support. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
I think parenting also is very tough, because how do you handle such a situation? Because if I want to enjoy my life after taking care of you, it's my right, because
Yeah,
I've done my
yeah.
part as a parent.
Yeah.
But now you're also my child. What will I do?
Yeah.
Siwezi pia nikakuacha kwa street uteseke.
Because you find there's some parents, you are not the only child.
Yeah.
They're like 7.
Hey.
And now you're adding another
Another
one.
Wameisha,
grandchild.
wamegrow, now I want to enjoy my life.
I
You're
know.
bringing another
You
one.
know?
It
Anyway,
can
I
be
think these
tough.
parents should just offer support and reassure
Yeah,
these
yeah,
children
yeah.
that whatever the circumstance, whatever
Yeah.
has happened, I'll just support you. Even if it is a social Gen Z who will not be there physically to wash the napkins
Yeah.
or even to feed the baby, she can just support, psychologically,
Yeah.
emotionally, playing with the kid,
But
talking
then-
to the
yeah.
mom and dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have very many forms of support: financial, physical, emotional support.
True.
So
Yeah.
support comes in very different ways. I think social Gen Z does
Yeah.
not want to wash napkin can do that.
But then I'm curious,
Yeah.
what makes it to a point
Mhm.
the kid comes home pregnant or comes home have impregnated someone else? What makes it get to that point? Because
think-
as we've seated here, we've both established we don't have kids. You know,
Mhm,
how are we raised different from the other kids?
I think when you have a solid relationship with your
With your
child,
yeah.
it really helps, because now, okay, yeah, you should be like we had a topic yesterday with Jeff,
Yeah.
and we were talking on parenting. So our guest was saying there's authoritarian and authoritative.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Authoritarian is ule, it's my way or the highway.
True.
Authoritative, okay, you have to do this and that, but tunaweza ongea, we can negotiate.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
they leave,
so-
they
and
leave a
that's
blank
how-
space
Yes,
for
yes,
negotiation.
yes.
Mhm.
So if you're authoritative,
Yeah.
munaweza kaa chini muongee, you create a plan, yeah, ABCD we are supposed to do this and that, blah blah
Don't
blah.
do
If this
this.
happens,
Yeah.
yeah, these are the implications, this is how you're going to handle evil. Yeah.
Huh.
And also, I think parents, in this case, a parent of the lady is aware that the girl is pregnant, right?
Yeah.
So I think they should also involve the other side
True.
of the
true.
man.
Yeah.
You see, just to come to a conclusion, how will we do to support this man, and this girl and this
And the-
boy and the child
yeah.
that is on the way coming?
Yeah. But then most parents don't think about that.
Especially
minute-
the boy parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the minute that case is brought up, there's a lot of hate towards the other side,
Yeah.
which is not supposed to be the case. Yeah.
And also, Cheryl, you were saying about what if this teenage girl gets pregnant again for the second boy?
time.
So I think this first
She
instance,
didn't learn a lesson.
yeah, she
the
didn't learn
first
a lesson,
time.
but I think this is an opportunity for her now to learn and know that if I mess up again, I will come back the same route.
Exactly.
So if a teenage girl gets pregnant, and this is also to our viewers,
Yes.
let it be a turning point. Let it be a point to just be enlightened
Yes.
and know that if I do this again,
Yes.
this will happen.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a learning point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
And
So-
you find that in another point, when the parent is like nimeshindwa na huyu mtoto, there's also seeking help from other people.
Mhm.
You know, if it's a pastor or a friend you hold dear, you're like, what do I do in this situation? Because you might find you're taking the wrong turn completely. Yeah, you need to seek help from other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on our last point,
Yes.
can a girl get pregnant before they get their period?
That is actually interesting.
Yeah.
That is actually interesting.
That's
Marion,
very-
you have a statistic on the same?
Yes.
Maybe you can read for us.
So, just from statistics I've seen from social media websites, is that the youngest girl to get pregnant and give birth successfully was 5 years old.
5.
Wow.
5, 1,
5 years
2,
old.
3, 4, 5 years
So
old.
alishinda mtoto wake na
5
5
years,
Yeah.
yes. Her name is Lina Marcella, but she's a
Marcella,
white.
yeah.
She's white.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
But then in Kenya, it's around 7 years.
Yes, 7 years.
7 years,
Yeah.
youngest.
So that brings the question: do you have to be fertile? Like when you're on your period, are you fertile?
No,
Do you
you're
have-
fertile when you're ovulating.
Ovulate.
Yeah.
So can a girl get pregnant before getting her first period?
Yes, because girls are born with their eggs ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your reproductive organ is usually ready.
But
It's
then-
usually developed, fully developed.
But 5 years is very
That's-
shocking. I
that's a
think
sad
we should also
story.
invite a gynecologist to
Yes.
just
Yes.
go down deep into this to explain how kind of 5 years give birth.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, this is the full spectrum. We're going on a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
Nĩ ũthumbũkĩte kũharĩria igongona rĩaku nĩguo rĩkinyanĩre. Ndũkamake rĩngĩ. JN Events marĩ haha nĩ ũndũ waku. Tũkũheaga macini ta drive racks, wireless microphones, stage fog machines, stage lights, floor monitors, luminaries na roadshow track. Tũkoragwo Naivasha, Karai Kiroche Road. Tũcerere kana ũhure thimũ namba 0720 394 177. JN Events. We speak your events.
Inyuretha duka ungigura paprika dress ndugathenike ringi Niamu Track Sound Audio Limited mehaha ni undu waku. Aya ni endia nguthi a speakers, mixers, equalizers, microphones, guitars, keyboards, haze machines, linearies, speakers, park and lights, amplifiers, drum sets na indo ingĩ nyingĩ. Me mũciĩ mũnene wa Nairobi, Luthuri Avenue, kana mwena wa Mombasa barabara-inĩ ya Haile Selassie. Nĩ ũndũ wa ũhoro makĩria mahũrĩre thimũ kũgerera 0722 755 207 kana 0799 3131. Track Sound Audio Limited. We make sound better.
Ũngĩenda kuonjorithia na ithuĩ, kwanĩrĩrithia biacara yaku kana kĩmenyithia gĩa gĩkuũ, tũcerere wabici-inĩ citũ Nairobi, View Park Towers, ngorofa ya 5 Wing C, kana ũhure thimũ namba 0720 394 177 kana ũtũme email kũrĩ info@mugitv.co.ke. Mugi TV, mugambo wa kwĩhokeka.
Nĩndonire ngari ithatũ mũthenya wa thigũkũ. Ngari icio ciathiaga kũ mũthenya wa thigũkũ. Ciathiaga Jerusalemu mũthenya wa thigũkũ.
Yes, kuma gũkũ kwa Mugi TV twakwendithĩria thigũkũ njega ya Christmas
na mwaka mwerũ ũyũ irathimo.
Enjoy.
Muthi wa Jumatatu aingĩ maũtambũrĩte ta mwanjĩrĩrio wa kiumia, no gũkũ kwa Mugi TV nĩ kĩanjĩrĩria kĩomenyo na ndititimũrano thaa-inĩ cia ũteti na ũtongoria. Maya mothe nĩ thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Mbuthĩ ya Ũteti. Nĩ Jumatatu thaa 1:30 o nginyagia thaa 3 hwaĩ-inĩ, ũgĩterevwo nĩ Wainaina Shake akĩinainia thingo ciothe cia ũteti na ũtongoria. Wĩra waku no gũikia Mbuthĩ ndereti-inĩ. Nĩ o Jumatatu thaa 1:30 o nginyagia thaa 3 hwaĩ-inĩ. Mugi TV, mugambo wa kwĩhokeka.
Nĩ ũtukũ gũkirĩtwo ngetwo Queen Chi, mũini wa nyĩmbo cia mũthũngũtho. Rĩu gũkũ twĩta JN Events nĩ tũramwendithĩria thigũkũ njega ĩna irathimo cia Ngai. Remember, Christmas is just not a Christmas, but a feeling. Hello, kaboma! Selector.
Nĩndonire ngari ithatũ, nĩndonire ngari ithatũ, nĩndonire ngari ithatũ mũthenya wa thigũkũ. Ngari icio ciathiaga kũ, ngari icio ciathiaga kũ, ngari icio ciathiaga kũ mũthenya wa thigũkũ. Ciathiaga Jerusalemu, ciathiaga Jerusalemu, ciathiaga Jerusalemu mũthenya wa thigũkũ.
Yes, kuma gũkũ kwa Mugi TV twakwendithĩria thigũkũ, Mugi TV twakwendithĩria thigũkũ.
Na mwaka mwerũ ũyũ irathimo.
Welcome back to the Full Spectrum Show, a show where we cover your stories from all angles.
Yes, in your comments, I see Charles Njuguna Njonjo has commented Kabisa from Molo. Thank you, Charles. And also I see the likes. There's Charles Luanga, Susie Queen, Shakila Nji, Sarah Blessed, and Charles Njuguna Njonjo. Thank you so much.
Yes, so the topic, we were on the point of, can a girl get pregnant before she receives her period?
Yes.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, you can, because as I said before, you're born, as a woman, you're born with your reproductive organ,
Yes.
all of it full,
Yes.
intact,
Yes.
ready. Yeah.
For me, I think it's possible for a girl to get pregnant before they start their periods. Why? Because ovulation precedes menstruation.
Yes.
A girl's body is just, it ovulates every month, even
Yes.
whether with or without the menstruation.
Yes.
It ovulates, and also meaning it. I think people know about ovulation. I'm not a
Yeah,
gynecologist.
Yeah.
Ovulation, I think it
Ovulation
happens
is
on the 13th and
14th, 15th, yeah? Right, if I can remember.
13th, 14th, 15th
You
day.
know, there's some people who don't know what ovulation is. And
Yeah,
are
so
seated here.
ovulation is the process where an egg has been released from the ovum.
Yeah.
So now the egg can be fertilized by a sperm and then it forms a baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if a girl has unprotected intercourse,
Yes.
and whether she has started her period or not,
Yeah.
a pregnancy can occur even though she has not experienced a period yet.
But then
Yes.
what's in my mind is that's so sad for a small child below
Yeah.
10 years.
Because you don't know what's happening to you.
That is so
You don't
sad.
know the changes that are happening to you. And I'm just curious, after having that child,
Yes.
would you now start receiving your period?
After having the kid.
Yeah.
So on this case, I've seen in most women and girls, it depends with your body. As ladies, our bodies are very different.
Yeah.
Even our menstrual cycles are not
They're
similar.
Yeah.
They really differ depending on the menstrual cycle length.
Yes.
Yours, mine, they're very different.
Yes.
So you find at this point that these ladies, after giving birth, some it may take 2 months, then their menstrual cycle gets to normal.
Yeah.
Others it may take even 1 year. Others 6 months. So it depends with the hormones in your bodies and your body. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving swiftly now, can we talk about the impacts of early pregnancies now in Kenya?
Impacts of early pregnancies in Kenya.
Yeah.
Number one, I think it deprives the education sector of students. Because remember, this girl is still a student, or rather this boy is a student.
Yeah.
And the girl drops out, goes to give birth and take care of the baby. So
Yeah.
number one, the education sector has lost one student. Or in this case, we don't know how many girls now are pregnant. So
Yeah.
let's see, especially during this holiday season, most high schoolers and even grade 6, 7, 8, those are students who are teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So you see they end up, maybe some get lied by men, and some are even ignorant. Some even don't know that if I do this and this with a man, I will get pregnant.
Yeah.
So
do you think they should put that kind of curriculum in our education system?
I support it fully. What do
I
you
truly
think, Lola?
support that.
Yeah.
I truly support that.
Yeah, but I think
yeah.
they have in life skills, they even have it in uni. Have you done life skills?
Yes, we have. Most
as a common
universities.
unit.
Well, yes, most universities, but you find that they really don't talk about what you would need to know. You know, they talk about what's in the books, but what's in the books is not what's going to help you out.
But in the primary section, they usually give us like a really detailed of our reproductive system and how it works and what will happen after what has happened, even in high school.
So for me, I think university sex education, or rather menstrual education, is not as important as at a younger stage in life. This education is needed at a very young age. Because this, we're talking about a teenage, or rather a young girl who is getting pregnant. So this education needs to get them before they mess. So in university it's still okay, they can still do it, but for a young girl who is it needs maybe around grade 6, 5, therefore sex education should be, I've seen we have a new curriculum, CBC. I think we should also have a unit, or rather a subject, to talk about sex education, you know, bodies, male bodies, female bodies, because what I learned in class 6 is not just enough. That was just review of the reproductive system, not about pregnancies and sex education or menstrual health. So I think it should be introduced very early.
Okay, so like, but do you think, my main question is, do you think that it's okay to teach teenagers on contraception?
Very okay.
And then
it's
you need to put
very
aside
okay.
Iron Lady.
Tell us why. Why?
So it is okay to teach these teenagers on contraceptive measures, and also not just contraceptive measures. What makes us get to contraceptives at the first point? It is sexual intercourse that will lead to pregnancy. So we should have all this incorporated in the system. Sexual education, contraceptive measures.
But then you know, there are some families where the mother is also young. The mother got the kid when they were young. So you cannot, it is so rare to find a mother talking, or a father talking to their son or their girl about it, because they also did it. And the son or the daughter is like, I've seen you, so what can you tell
this is a very great lesson, because my mom did it, let me not do it. Let me not do
But
it. Why should you say you want to do it because your mom did it?
But now I'm just thinking, you know, there are various types of contraception, and there are those which inaenda kwa damu direct. Now you've started using contraception when you're 15 years, you're now 25 years, you're married, you want to have a child. You've been using contraception for like 10 years. And it's usually advisable for you to use after you've given birth.
True.
So I think people should just abstain.
For me, for our viewers and for the girls on set, I think the best contraception method is just abstaining.
Abstinence.
Abstinence is the best.
Fornication.
To avoid STDs, to avoid STIs, and most importantly, to avoid early pregnancies and unwanted pregnancies.
Yes. But for those who've had children when they're still young, it is still okay. There's still hope for tomorrow.
And don't get a second child while you're still young.
As I said earlier,
you can still build your future. Children are a gift from God. So please love your child. Take your kids in the best way that you can.
Yes. And also there's these incidences where the parent kind of tells the child what not to do and what to do, but leaves out the most vital thing.
Now who is to blame there?
The parent.
The parent or the child?
At that point, it's the
parent.
Because you know, as a parent, you need to be strict. Actually, you need to be strict. You need to be like, but at the same time, don't be too strict where your child starts sneaking out. If your child starts sneaking out, just know you messed up somewhere. You need to be like, please don't do this. But if you get a friend who's a man, or if you're a man, you get a friend who's a girl, there are some boundaries. Make friends. You can go study and everything, but there are some places like, don't go to bed together. Why are you studying in bed? You know, you can study in the living room. Go play outside together, but don't stay till late. You know, such things.
Why are you even in the house together? By yourselves.
Why?
Hey,
you know,
without parental guidance.
And actually, what makes a kid
are neglectful.
And what makes a kid end up thinking about such things is, for example, parents who drink. You know, and parents who are very abusive. So the child is trying to find other ways to try and satisfy the neglective self, you know. And such parents, for the parents out there, please do not neglect your kids. You know, listen to them. When your kid comes home late at night today, ask why. Do not be like, oh, where are you grounded? Ask why they came late. What was going on? With that, they'll prevent a lot of sneaking out, a lot of not telling you things. You know, yeah.
But they won't tell you a lot of things if you're authoritarian.
Yeah,
so you find they're sneaking out, they're doing their own things. You don't
and
even
it ends
know.
up banning you.
Yeah.
So you can just slowly, swiftly touch on. Yesterday you had a topic on parenting.
Yes.
So can you please briefly explain us about authoritarian and authoritative, and should a parent be authoritative or authoritarian when we receive such a case of early pregnancy or teenage pregnancy?
Okay, so authoritarian is the parent who anasema these are the rules, you have to follow them, or it's the highway, like akunati negotiations or whatever. But authoritative anakwambia this and this, if you do this, this happens, if you do this, this happens. Like you can sit down and negotiate. Hata ukipata mimba, like kuna hiyo space yenye mnaweza kaa muongee. But ile ingine ni utoke uende utafute baba huyo mtoto sikutaki hapa. So I think parents should be authoritative because you should also, these children are also human beings. The way you feel pain is the same way they feel pain.
And mistakes happen.
Even you as an adult, you make mistakes.
True.
So you should be able to be understanding at some point and be like, sawa, okay,
It's
imefanyika, so now how do we deal with this? And then now you show them the right way, you guide them as their parent.
And there's also this topic on legal consequences. You know, there's some parents, when your girl comes home pregnant, you don't want to know who the father is. You're just like, they have to pay, you know. And so they take, especially if the girl doesn't know who the man is, they go do the DNA, and when the man is found, they take him to court. Let's say it's a grown-up. They take that man to court. And you know, if you're a man and you're caught, you've impregnated a small teenager, that is how many years? 14 years. 14 years. So as a man, you're like, no, she said yes. She said yes. She was okay with it, you know. So in such, who do you blame? Is it the man or the girl? In such cases, where they bring in legal court.
It depends. For me, my point, I think it depends because sometimes we have, you know, an 18-year-old is still a teenager. A 17 is still a teenager.
But
and these people can make sound decisions,
yes.
So you find they say, me, I loved this man, and we did it out of, let's say, love.
Yes.
He did not force me.
Yes.
So you find this girl again defending them, man.
Yes. But
So
the parent doesn't
the parent doesn't want to hear. So if you go to court, I don't know how the judge will handle that.
But the what is it called? Easy rules and regulations. The court, they have this name, are still the same.
The rights.
No, not the rights. The law. The law states that if you have sexual intercourse with an underage.
That is under 18.
So it doesn't matter whether you're in love,
whether
or
she
whatever.
accepted or whether she did not accept.
That's the law.
What if the boy is also underage?
Both of them should be arrested.
both of them. You know, and you find that, for example, it has been taken to court, you know, and there's this case where they were both of the same age. Was it 16 years old? And they were both drunk. But it just so happened it is the man's fault. Why?
Both
Why
were
is
drunk.
it always the man's fault? To be very
That's why we
honest.
said
We are
men
ladies,
need to
yes,
be iron.
but-
Yes, you know, on set we have iron ladies, so we should also have iron men.
Well, we need to bring them.
Yeah, so, but I think it's because men usually don't speak up. So,
That's the problem.
They
just as we say,
decide
men
to
are-
keep to themselves.
Men are
And then now you
they
feel
have
like
to be
they're okay.
strong.
Yeah.
They have
They
to
have
behave
been
as
forced
even
by
if
the
you are
society.
weak. Yeah, society has just imposed them to be strong. A man should be strong.
Sadly.
That's
Sadly.
very
And
bad.
also, for example, there's this case we rarely talk about, where the boy is the one underage. I know it is not about teenage pregnancy, but the boy is underage and the mother the lady is a full-grown woman. You know,
give us an example. Which age and which age?
for example, let's say a 15-year-old boy with a 25-year-old woman.
Woo.
In that scenario, the man will never speak out. That's
Okay,
the
why
problem.
can't this woman be jailed then?
Exactly.
Because if it was the other way
But you
round,
know,
it will have been
the
very
man
long
could
time
be a bit
ago.
jailed.
Very
What
long time
about
ago. It is really
but I feel like now the society is so unfair to the men.
true.
Because if it was like you're saying, if it was the other way round, the man would
Could
have
have
been
been
Without
jailed.
thinking twice.
Yeah.
But 25 years lady and 15 years old
Boy.
boy, no jail.
But then you know that actually I feel like there are some cases where the woman has been jailed, and that's because the boy spoke out.
Have you heard of such cases?
No,
Yeah.
that's the problem. But I'm saying if the boy spoke out, it will have been as much as men say there's feminists. Feminists talk about themselves too much. You know, we also have men who talk about themselves too much. So if boys started speaking out, stop like raping the men, it will have brought a bigger, because if you go to a judge and be like, why haven't you ever ruled out a case of a small boy with a grown-up woman?
I think such cases are there, but very minimal.
Very minimal.
Very
And
few
they don't
cases.
bring it out, you know. Yeah.
So that is it from us today. It has been the full spectrum, and my name is Cheryl Mageni.
And our show today was all about early pregnancies. And I hope that all ladies watching us, all men or young men and young ladies watching us have been impacted by this show.
Yes.
We have said that we have come to a conclusion that the best way to prevent teenage or rather early pregnancies in this case is by abstinence.
Yes.
So I've been your host, Marion Mwema.
And I'm Lona Onchiri. Please like,